question. And the question, Jack, was, when's the last time you fired a client? And that led on to some different kind of discussions and kind of leading to today's how question, which is how do you know when it's time to fire a client? And maybe even, an amendment to that or subtext to that is how do you then go about doing it, right? So you got to know when the time is. Like, when is it? How do you know when it's time to actually fire a client?
Well, there are a lot of keys to that one, as we've certainly discovered. I have one question. We were talking about how to start our business or buy a business. So that was last week's discussion. We didn't really finish on that, but we will stay off that subject today unless somebody calls us up, has a question about that. How do you start a business or
buy a business?
Or buy a business? Because that's something that can span weeks and weeks. But,
and always different examples of it and where it's worked or hasn't worked or different. And it's.
So how did you make somebody cry?
All right, so I asked the question. The reason I asked the question is this owner was talking about just some of the challenges that go into business, and as we got into the discussion about it, started talking about a client that was, for lack of a better term, Jack, was being abusive. And what I mean by that, they weren't physically abusive, but they had engaged this company to do a certain type of work. Okay, and they were asking for that bottle of Snapple there, Jack. But once they got into it, well, they didn't want just that bottle of Snapple. They actually wanted the whole 12-pack of it. Or actually, they wanted to throw a couple of Gatorades in there as well. And something. Also, what they originally asked for is not what they are now asking for now.
We've come across a few of those.
They reached agreement on, hey, there's a price in terms for that. Okay, we'll do the Snapple bottle and want it being a bunch more. And so, as I was trying to understand, and this is often what we do when we talk to clients. And this wasn't a client yet, but may soon be. To help them kind of talk through stuff. As she's talking about things, you get that smile, right? Because as they have to articulate how they're thinking about things or why they haven't done certain things, they kind of
nervous smile. You know it's coming. Something's coming.
Well, they know that they don't have an answer. Like they hear themselves talk and they realize that what they're telling you, doesn't really hold water, right? So in this particular case, I asked, well, this happened to be kind of a web-related type thing. I said, well, what if you just hand over whatever you've done and kind of give it to the person and you kind of walk away, right? Well, that would be a good outcome from that standpoint. Well, why don't you just do that? I mean, you've already gone beyond the cost estimate. You probably lost money on this deal, so why keep throwing more good time after bad kind of thing? Well, I started to get some of the excuses or reasons for not doing it, right? Well, this guy's kind of a bully. Got that word? Okay, what does bully mean? And we say,
okay.
Well, I immediately put it into terms of DISC, as we talk about here a lot in the show, the behavior assessment of DISC. So somebody being a high D, very driving, demanding type. The person I was talking to is very obviously a high I, very people person, people pleaser. Even shared a story about some other group that she was involved in, where she had an advisor who was there and wasn't really doing what she needed. So she went to the powers that be to say, hey, by the way, this person's not really doing what you want them to do. And lo and behold, that person got terminated a couple weeks later. Now, she feels awful. She felt awful about this when it started. And now she feels even more awful about it, right? I said, help her understand that it wasn't because of what she said. Chances are that is not the first complaint they've gotten. It may have been the last one or what have you, right? And, this guy had written a scathing feedback on her.
So she's worried that was one of the...
So one of the excuses for not firing this other client is, hey, well, I don't want him to talk bad about us, right? And my point was, well, the person you mentioned before they got fired, this client, same thing too. I said the person that got fired was kind of a bozo, and had somebody else who was actually there who could corroborate that he was, because he was an advisor for this other person who was not doing the right kind of job either, right? And so people they don't take all feedback to be the same, right? If I know somebody's a total bozo, what they say, I kind of take it and brush it off and don't really put much credence in it.
Yeah, why even spend time with bozos? Well, that's what the whole point of this is today.
For this guy, or for the client that was the problem, was kind of a pain in the butt client. I go, well, if he's a pain in the butt for you, he's probably a pain in the butt for everybody. I go, so they all kind of know that's how he is. So chances are they're probably say, well, yeah, you're just a pain in the butt, and you're probably asking for more than you were getting. And again, so you have to kind of fight through some of this stuff. So she was worried about again him saying bad things about her. It was a bigger company. Again, this is I think a very common thing, and we've got a lot of examples of that too. We've got a small client, small business owner, and they're dealing with a little bigger client who has a little deeper pockets. And hey, I'm afraid they're gonna come after me. They're gonna sue me, right? Well, sue you for what? right? That you
got to take those battles on. That's right.
So you try to picture, well, you want to fight. Well, picture yourself being in front of a magistrate or a judge if it goes that far. And you have a pretty good case to present. Hey, I've gone here, and I promised that Snapple bottle, Jack, and I've delivered not only that Snapple bottle, but a whole 6-pack of that, plus a couple of Gatorades and a couple other iced teas there. He's still not happy, right?
People are going to think we're selling Snapple today.
We are, but I remember Snapple. They used to have really good commercials back in the day. Do you remember the Snapple lady from Long Island?
That's right.
She's very entertaining. I don't know what happened to her. She'd be good to have on the show.
That's right. A lot of good people like that. Stella, the Wendy's gal, and yeah.
But the Where's the Beef gal?
Yeah.
Okay. That's I know her as the Where's the Beef gal. I know her name was Stella. That's very educational show we have here, folks. You pay attention.
Right,
you get some good trivia knowledge. So that kind of prompted this topic for today, Jack. In terms of how do you know when it's time to fire the client, and how do you know how do you go about doing it? And so I'll finish on this story.
Here after the break.
Yeah, I'll circle back in terms of this, in terms of why this not client yet of ours asked me to come with her to help fire this client, and what my response to that was. But we'll hit that. We can hit back on that when we get back on the break, as well as share some other ideas of that. So if you